Hey, it's Ackerman, and I'm going to show you how to play 1979 by Smashing Pumpkins. It's pretty easy, just a couple of chords and some strumming, and there's only three different sections to the song really, so it's pretty quick to get under your belt. One thing to note is that Smashing Pumpkins actually tunes down a half step to E flat for this song. We're not going to worry about that for this. If you're playing with some friends or on your own, you'll be just fine. If you try to play the record, you'll sound a little weird, and you might want to tune each string down a half step than you normally would. But again, for this, we'll just stay in the key of E, and I'll show you how to do it. So here we go. I'll just play the first part a couple times through first, and then we'll break it down and go step by step. There we go. So here's the first part. So, how we play this is with a couple of basic forms and a riff. The first form is really just an octave, which is played by putting your first finger on the 6th fret of the 5th string and your pinky an octave higher on the 8th fret of the 3rd string. And you only play 3 strings here. You play the low open 6th string, the 5th string, and the 3rd string. I'm muting the other strings with my first finger so even though I can strum through, you're only hearing these 3 notes because my first finger is muting this 4th string just by laying over it gently, and the same thing with the top 2 strings. So again, even though I'm playing through all the notes, you're only hearing those 3 because I'm only pressing down on those 2 frets and letting the low string ring out. So that's the first chord, an E flat, or technically a D if you're playing to the record. Anyway, so it starts like that. And then you slide the whole form up 1 fret. So now your first finger's on the 7th fret and your pinky's on the 9th. Same 3 strings you're playing though. So, and then you drag all the way down to the 2nd fret with your first finger. So you're on the 2nd fret and the 4th fret with your pinky. Same 3 strings ringing. So. And then you play the riff that persists through pretty much the whole song, and that's played like this. And so how we play that is the open 5th is ringing every time we strike the notes, and you're only playing the 4th string other than that, so it's just 2 strings. And we play it by first starting with our 3rd finger on the 6th fret of the 4th string and bending it up toward, well, I guess technically down toward your feet on a quick bend. So you start out with your finger just on the 6th fret, then you bend it up a whole step so it makes this note actually, or a half step, I'm sorry, so it makes this note. Right, but you bend it. And then you drop down to your first finger on the 4th fret. Slide down to the 2nd fret, back up to the 4th, 6th, way up to the 9th, and that's that phrase right there. So that, like I say, persists through pretty much the whole song. So let's play that first riff now. Turn a little bit. So that's the first whole progression. It plays through that 3 times, and at the end of the 3rd time, is it 3 or 4? Anyway, it plays through it. And at the end of that first progression, it ends on an E minor 7, which is played with your 3rd finger on the 9th fret of the 5th string, first finger on the 7th fret of the 4th, and your pinky on the 9th fret of the 3rd. And you're also playing the low E as well. And again, you're muting the top 2 strings. I'm muting them anyway with my first finger just laying gently over. So when I play through this whole chord, I only hear 4 strings. So that's the E minor 7, followed by a B major bar chord, which, if you don't know, is your first finger barring all the strings of the 7th fret, your pinky on the 9th fret of the 5th string. I'm sorry, 3rd finger on the 9th fret of the 3rd string. Let's try this again. Your first finger is barring all the notes on the 7th, your 3rd finger is on the 9th fret of the 5th, your pinky is on the 9th fret of the 4th, and your 2nd finger is up on the 8th fret of the 3rd. And you play all the notes in there. So again, you go from the E minor 7 to the B major, and then you start right over again on the main part of the song. So we'll play through the whole progression. E minor 7.